Are we living in a golden age, or has that time passed? We're just over the cusp. So if you look around yourself today, you could be forgiven for thinking that we're living not so much in a golden age as the Beige Age. Let me just explain where all this is coming from. I had a very strange comment left on one of my videos from another YouTuber who said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that if you take pride in yourself, you generate envy in others. And I thought, what are the implications of that mindset? Is it that feeling good about yourself makes others feel bad about themselves? And should that be a reason to stop you from feeling good about yourself, or from doing anything to feel good about yourself? And I felt that was a line of thinking that could do with investigating a little bit further. It seems to me that although there's much about our society which is great and good, those same qualities that have led us to this point in our development are frequently no longer seen as attributes, but almost as defects. Excellence is a four-letter word. At the moment, maybe not literally, but given the decline in our standards of education, I think it's only a matter of time before somebody starts spelling it that way. It seems that mediocrity is the new goal. Not so much be the best as be like everybody else. Look at the political stage, and where are the great statesmen of our time? Where's the modern equivalent of Kennedy or Lincoln or Churchill? Who do we have today? We've got people who can barely string a sentence together, people with no guts, no compassion, no conviction, and no passion. Karaoke politicians whose only skills appear to be the ability to echo our own words back to us, and to continue to stick their noses ever deeper into the trough, to the extent that their swill flows into their ears, and they can no longer hear us. But why are we letting them get away with it? Nobody can answer that question for me. Where are the great movies of our time? We're remaking old movies and TV series that were just fine the first time around, using people who can't act and dumbing down the storylines, packing them with dazzling special effects and stunts and all the hoo-ha about how expensive this feature was to put together and how this salary is the highest ever paid to a star. All of this to distract us from the lack of content. It's spectacle but no story. And yet, that doesn't stop these projects from breaking box office records. So why do we continue to pay to see this shite? I don't know, but we do. Dogs and vomit, perhaps. Where are the great artists of our time? The Monets, the Picassos? And what the fuck is Damien Hirst all about? If I get a jar of pickled onions out of my cupboard and I put it on a white Formica table, that isn't art. Maybe it's always been the same, that there's only this occasional gem in a vast pit of muck and gravel. And so, with hindsight, we selectively remember the good things. You've got Irving Berlin, who's going to be remembered in 200 years' time when, the Spice Girls are completely forgotten, simply because what he produced was solid enough to stand the test of time. To me, that's a fairly plausible explanation, but where are Berlin's modern equivalents? And what worries me is that today everybody wants to be a Spice Girl. The message is that we should expect to settle for less, because the good stuff takes effort, and everything really should be easy. Don't think for yourself. That's difficult. We'll tell you what to think. We'll do the thinking for you. Don't watch a film that has any kind of deep meaning or any kind of story about the human condition. Just look at the sparkly CGI effects. Don't worry about the impact of pollution from Chinese industry. Don't worry about the impact on our economies as they produce all this cheap crap for us. Don't worry about the abuse of human rights that makes all of this cheap labour possible. Don't worry about any of that because, the fireworks at the Olympic opening ceremony were fucking great. The message used to be that if you worked hard, you'd be rewarded. That if you want to achieve anything worthwhile, you're going to have to take risks. Now it's working smarter, not working harder. And working smarter means that you say the right things to the right people. You never do anything that's going to rock the boat. So every spark of colour is just flushed away in a sea of magnolia because it's better to be safe, better to keep your head down. Second half of the 20th century in the UK saw the death of this idea that people should know their place. And now it's making a return at the start of the 21st century. Don't be a tall poppy. Who do you think you are? You're no better than the rest of us. I've got an anecdotal story from a colleague who used to work in support for another company. His manager had received an email from one of their clients praising him up and saying that he provided service that was beyond what was normal for that department. And his manager called him into the office and told him, "You're making the rest of us look bad." So when he asked why the focus wasn't on raising the bar for everyone in the department, he was told, "You're not a team player, are you? So what can you do if that's the message that's coming down from the top? There's no I in team." "Yeah, but there's a U in cunt." Albert Einstein said that highly developed spirits often encounter resistance from mediocre minds. So I suppose it's probably only a matter of time before life imitates art and Kurt Vonnegut's Harrison Bergeron becomes a reality. I don't think that it's just laziness and complacency that give rise to this culture, though. There's a more sinister driving force at work here, and that's social control. That's what religious and social infrastructure are really there to provide, not to protect us, but to maintain the status quo and make it easier to control us. So we have some choices to make whilst we still have enough willpower left to make our own choices. We can carry on thinking the same way as everyone else, or at least appearing to think the same way as everyone else, so that we maintain their approval and we keep a low profile. Or we can stand up and make a difference. In the former, we see no progress, just more of the same. You accept your lot in life, you realise that one person cannot change anything. And, you'll get people complaining, but they really have no right to complain at all because they're getting exactly what they deserve. They're getting what they asked for. In the latter, we get empowerment and change. And if it's change for the good, then we can learn from that, and it'll be followed by change for the better. And if it's change for the worse, we can learn from that too, and the people who are empowered by the change will make sure that it's followed by change for the better. And you don't have to be a revolutionary to make a difference. You don't need a revolution to cause change. The answer is really very, very simple indeed. All you need to do is expect more. Expect more from others, and above all, expect more from yourself. Don't have your expectation of what you can achieve be bound by what other people expect from you. Don't be limited by other people's limitations. And don't be afraid to step over the boundaries set by other people's fear of what you might achieve if only you try. Make the choice as to which is more important to you. Do you want to live your life, or are you happy just existing through it?